This meeting to order. Sorry, what were you saying about Boy George? Is that Councilman Boy George tonight? I would like to invite Kelly Lee to come forward and lead us in the pledge. If we'd all stand and face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I would like to introduce Kelly Lee, who is running for Superior Court in Fulton County, and she would like to address the large crowd we have here tonight.
And you're spread out. I think I don't know if I can turn around like this and face you, but I am a lifelong Georgian. I've been practicing law in Atlanta since I graduated from the University of Georgia Law School in '93. I'm a resident of Fulton County, have been since that time. I do business litigation. And I ran in 2008 for an open seat on the Fulton Superior Court. Got a lot of votes, but did not win that seat. And I'm at it again. There's another open seat this November 2010. So I'm going to be on your ballot throughout Fulton County. Really want to connect with my message with North Fulton, because I think it resonates with North Fulton. I think we need civil litigators on the bench that understand business litigation matters and know how to move cases. And I'm the best candidate for the position. I have, since running in 2008, I have been on 2 short lists, which are finalist lists for an appointment to that seat, which is a list that's come up with by the Judicial Nominating Commission that hears all the applicants, vets them, determines whether or not they're qualified or not, and recommends a short list of candidates up to the governor. And I've made that list the last 2 times. So I've come very close to an appointment. I'm well qualified. My name is Kelly Lee, and I'd love support. I'd love meet and greets throughout your county. I'd love yard signs in your yards. So I'd love a chance to talk to you after the meeting. Thanks a lot.
Kelly, do you have a website?
I do, and it will be up active as of Friday. So don't waste your time until then, but take it down. It's votekellylee.com. votekellylee.com.
Thank you, Kelly Lee.
Thanks, Mayor.
And if you need to go politic somewhere else, you please feel free to move on to other politicking areas. At this time, I would like to introduce Boy George, used to be known as Jerry Orleans, now the green-haired rocker of Roswell.
Now,
and his boy companion.
Hey, taking the green hair,
Chief Williams. So, who would we like to introduce this?
Wait a minute, Mayor. I can take the green hair, but now the reference to Boy George. Now, it just came to me. There cut it right there.
Oh, Mayor, please, me.
Oh, Becky Wynn.
Good evening. This is something that we started last year to raise money for the Keep Roswell Beautiful light bulb exchange. I'm assuming that's what we're still doing. And our winners or losers, however you want to look at it, is Councilman Jerry Orleans. I will never tell another blonde joke in my life. And Chief Ed, oh my God, wait till the patrolman see you, Williams. So anyway, this is a great opportunity for us to raise money for our Keep Roswell Beautiful exchange, light bulb exchange. And the reason I'm introducing is because Chief Spencer and I were the inaugural green hair people, and so we know what y'all are going through. So you all looked really great tonight, and thank you so much for being good sports.
Has your picture been taken yet?
No, sir. I think we need a picture of our green hair people.
And first I'll call upon Councilmember Price.
I just wanted to ask how much money was raised in the effort?
Mr. Mooring.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. $268 were collected. That was $1 per
Money well
vote.
spent.
Money well spent, and actually this year the funds have been allocated to purchase of water conservation kits, which have been given out to residents and Roswell Water customers to help them reduce their usage of our water supply. So we commend and appreciate the tremendous campaigns waged by these two gentlemen. Nobody can appreciate more than I do how well Chief Williams led his campaign to make sure that he would raise this money for this noble cause.
Thank you. So, have we taken a photograph of these gentlemen?
No, sir.
And I'm nominating Stu Mooring for next year's winner.
It's all about our raising money. Julie Breckville, how are we going to take this shot here?
We need the two of them so we can put that on the webpage.
We need to get the two of them. And we should have the past winners. No, we just need the two current winners and the two past winners. I don't think the rest of us warrant a photograph with these people. Chief Spencer, you were a past winner. You need to come forward too. Chief Spencer, the green-haired people.
Yeah, last year's and this year too.
Yeah, there you go.
No, who threw in the hat? It's a great touch. Let's have a hand for these good sports. Next, it's my privilege to recognize our Public Works folks, and with a proclamation regarding National Public Works Week. Whereas Public Works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support and understanding of informed citizens is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, streets, public buildings, solid waste collection, and whereas the health and safety and comfort of this community greatly depends upon these facilities and services. And whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works officials. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff our public works, environmental, transportation, community development, and building operations department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. And whereas the participating departments held a Touch a Truck event on Saturday, March 15th to introduce the public more about what departments do each day, and a truck rodeo will be held tomorrow, Tuesday, May 18th. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Wood, Mayor of the City of Roswell, do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th through the 22nd of 2010 as National Public Works Week in the City of Roswell, and I call upon all of our citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and recognize the contributions which public works officials make every day to our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. And Public Works motto is above, beyond, and all around you. And with that, we would like to introduce Mr. Mooring, who's the head of our Public Works Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This will be actually our 13th annual celebration of this event. Excuse me, the 12th annual. I've only been here 12 and a half years. But it is recognizing the work that takes place and the men and women that do that work day in and day out, 24 hours a day, and so forth. As you noted, there was a Touch a Truck event on Saturday morning. Many families came out and brilliantly planned by Kim Weber of the Transportation Department. They coordinated with the farmers market so that people could attend both events. And I was there for about an hour, and the children loved to see the garbage truck operate and the the sewer camera and the street sweeper and all those different things. We will have our first annual truck rodeo tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We will have Wednesday a luncheon for sanitation, garage, and recycling workers, and on Friday a luncheon at Roswell Area Park for the remainder of Public Works Environmental, Transportation Department staff, Community Development staff, and Building Operations staff. You are all cordially invited to each and every one of those events. I wanted to also call your attention to an award that we recently won. The plaque gets a little bit lost in the lights, but the Georgia Association of Water Professionals has cited us for the Stormwater Watershed Protection Project of the Year. This was for the Barrington Farms channel restoration that was done a couple of years ago. This actually was Alice Champagne's first project when she came on board. In fact, we had signed her up to do that before she actually started on our payroll. This was a joint effort with Georgia EPD and Fulton County Water and Sewer Department. EPD had to approve the project so that funds could be allocated from a fine that was being paid by Fulton County to pay for this project. Alice and her staff oversaw the project. It was a great channel protection and restoration project, and we're very proud that we have won that. She brought this home just last week, and I thought it was appropriate for you all to see for Public Works Week. One final thing, for the truck rodeo and the two luncheons, we have a number of sponsors who have been very generous to help us out to reduce the impact on our city finances. Those firms are listed here, the truck rodeo sponsors. You can read them for yourselves, but they have been a great help to us, and we appreciate their assistance. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Does the council have any questions for Mr. Mooring?
Yes.
Councilman Boy George.
What happened to the bike ride escorted over to the park from City Hall Friday for the luncheon?
Yes, sir, Mr. Orleans. That is indeed an element. That is actually a related event that is part of Ride a Bike to Work Week, and my understanding is, and I have been enlisted for this by Mr. Asenbrack, my colleague, that the group will plan to meet at Roswell Area Park at 7:30 and ride from there to City Hall, and I will be
No, but we're
happy
supposed to
be a
ride
part
from
of that.
City Hall to
We will
the
then
park for lunch.
we will then ride over to
All the
Roswell
council
Area
members are
Park
going to ride bicycles.
for lunchtime. That is, you are welcome and encouraged to participate in that event, but I don't make policy on stuff like that.
Other questions?
Yeah, my understanding is we're going to be here at 11 on Friday, and hopefully we get there. I'm sorry? No, we didn't cancel that bike ride on Friday, I don't think.
No, it's absolutely a part of the event.
Yeah, we were going to do it Wednesday, but we changed it to Friday, and that's,
Correct.
I think that's the confusion. So it's Friday at 11, we'll meet here and ride over to that Roswell Area Park.
Because Kay's supposed to be my biker babe in the back of my bike.
Yes, sir. We will send an email out confirming the times, and so we don't get confused. It's back on, yes, ma'am.
Councilmember DiPolito.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Moran, what exactly occurs at a truck rodeo?
For this inaugural event, the competition will be among garbage trucks. There will be 4 residential trucks and 4 commercial front-loader trucks. They will run an obstacle course to determine speed and agility and safety. They will have to both go forward and backward, operate within the confines of the safety cones that are placed. And so, like any obstacle course, they will be timed, but then also if they knock over a cone or do something, ride a curb or something like that, then they would be deducted points. And in the event of a tie, I think it will come down to style.
Can we add an event to see who can set down a dumpster the most quietly?
I wasn't involved in setting this up, but we can certainly make that part of the competition next year.
That could be your tiebreaker.
Yeah, can we have council members drive the garbage trucks, through the courts?
Not a chance.
No, sir, you're not covered.
I think risk management might have an issue there.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Moore, and we look forward to the
Thank you.
ride to lunch. Next, we have our sister city to the south, Sandy Springs, is applying for an opportunity zone. They're before the state. They have passed a resolution at the city council level. We recently went through that process, and we went to Sandy Springs and our other cities and asked for their support and a resolution in support of their request for an opportunity zone. So they are now requesting that we return the favor. Do we have a motion to approve a resolution supporting Sandy Springs' request for an opportunity zone? Yes.
Did they actually pass through it? Because I heard it was controversial and they
It was
hadn't passed
controversial.
it. But they did pass it?
They did pass it.
Council?
In Roswell, we were trying to expand the opportunity zone. In Sandy Springs, there were folks who were trying to contract it, and so they passed it at a contracted.
So they've asked for this from all the other cities then?
They didn't have the consultant we did.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm assuming all of the mayors are doing this also, right? Am I correct?
I couldn't tell you. I just know that Mayor Galambos.
Well, I make a motion to approve then.
Motion by Councilmember Wynn to approve the resolution in support of the Sandy Springs Opportunity Zone. Do we have a second? Second by Councilman Orleans. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. Do we have a motion? I understand there's someone wants to take off the consent agenda. Item number 7, which was the approval of mayor to sign a contract with PE Structures. So with that exception, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with all the items with the exception of paragraph 7? Item 7. Move to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Wynn. Motion by Councilmember Orleans. Does anyone in the audience have any questions regarding the consent agenda with the exception of paragraph 7, which we're going to bring forward next? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. At this time, we'll bring forward who would present that, Ms. Love? Public Safety.
The green-haired guy over there.
Nancy Diamond, if you would call that agenda item.
Okay. Are we doing the one that was on the consent agenda first?
Yes.
Okay. Chief Williams, if you'll make your way up, I'm reticent to put you through this again, but there's not enough spotlight on you yet.
That's number 7. It's the PE Structures Atlantic Inc. So it's plumbing.
Yes. Approval
Public
for the
safety.
mayor and council to
Okay.
Indoor City Administrator to sign a contract with PE Structures Atlantic Incorporated to replace plumbing fixtures in the detention center in the amount of $49,750.
Thank you. What this would do for us is, first of all, replace some porcelain fixtures that were originally put in the building when the building was built. These fixtures are broken occasionally, and of course, if they are broken, they can either be used intentionally to hurt someone or can do so accidentally. Secondly, we have some cells that don't have a toilet fixture in it, so the people that are in those cells have to alert a jailer and asked to be let out to go to the bathroom. So that's in short what we're doing with this, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions.
Does the council have any questions? Yes, Councilmember Price.
The reason I asked to have this on discussions goes back to our committee discussion of this topic, and it just didn't sit well with me that when you average this out, it came to close to $10,000 per commode, and I just have a hard time justifying that expense for what we're trying to achieve.
It is costly, but we are doing work inside the detention center's poured concrete, reinforced concrete, and we're also having to relocate where the fixtures mount. And so we've been trying to get this done for some time, and this is actually the best bids we've had on it. But it is costly, yes, ma'am.
Further discussion? Councilmember Diamond.
Chief Williams gave me a tour not too long ago, and we went through this, and I've seen the mechanism and what it is and what it's meant to remedy, and I'm with you that it does seem like a lot of money, but it is a little different than household or even commercial fixtures. The idea of the water fountain and the toilet and the sink all together are a little creepy, but it does give you the whole setup, and I think it is a long,
my favorite part,
term.
actually.
Yeah. I'm sure that appeals to some, but I have been made comfortable with the idea that this is something that would benefit and reduce our staff issues and having to have somebody on call for bathroom runs and that kind of thing.
Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Do we have a motion? Councilmember Price, did you have a question before we entertain that motion?
How many inmates are currently in cells that require them to leave to go to the restroom?
Well, currently we have, I think there are 5 cells that do not have, off the top of my head, and I apologize. I go in there all the time, but I believe it's 5 cells that don't have a toilet in them.
Are we going to be putting toilets in all those 5 cells?
Yes, sir.
Other questions? Do we have a motion? Motion to approve by Councilmember Diamond. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Wynn. Further discussion by council. All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. That's Councilmember Orleans, Eichelhart, Wynn, DiPolito, and Diamond. All opposed? Price passes 5-1. At this time, I will call upon Councilmember Betty Price to call the community development agenda.
First item, number 3 on the regular agenda, RZ 1003, text amendment regarding real estate directional signs for agent caravans, second reading. Mr. Townsend?
Yes, this is the second reading of a text amendment to put into the sign code in section 22.12 of the temporary signs relating to real estate directional signs, language that would allow for a real estate caravan sign to be limited in the times when they can be placed between 6 p.m. on Monday and needs to be removed by 5 p.m. on Tuesday. This is the second reading of the proposed text amendment. Staff would recommend approval.
Does the council have any questions? Do we have a motion? We need to have a second reading.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to amend the City of Roswell zoning ordinance regarding real estate directional signs within the city limits of Roswell. Now, therefore, pursuant to their authority, the mayor and city council adopt the following ordinance. Zoning ordinance of the City of Roswell is hereby amended by adding a new section to Chapter 22 of the City of Roswell zoning ordinance, Section 22.12B10, as follows, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this will be the second reading of the ordinance.
Councilman Orleans.
I just wanted to point out that I think the first line of that, City of Roswell now desires to amend its and zoning ordinance, needs to be a little reworded there possibly.
Where are you looking?
All right. Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I'd like to defer to Councilmember Diamond for this motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Diamond, second by Councilmember Price. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously.
Next item is approval of resolution for the creation of a Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, known as CPAC, and appointment of the committee members. Alice Wakefield.
Thank you. As was stated, this is a request from staff that this body approve the resolution creating the CPAC committee and appoint the committee members. As you are aware, the update of the city's comprehensive plan as mandated by state law is underway, and community participation is a vital and key component of the overall plan development. As set forth, quality public participation and stakeholder involvement in preparation of the community agenda, which is the actual plan. The purpose of the CPAC is to provide feedback, advise the planning team, and to help shape the overall process. So staff is requesting approval.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Price. Is there a second? Second. Second by Councilmember Orleans. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion or by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time I'll call upon Councilmember Diamond, Public Safety Liaison.
This is approval of a resolution to resubmit an application for the U.S. Department of Justice Community Office of Policing Services grant for 2010. I'm sorry. Still learning the protocol. Chief Williams.
Thank you. We have applied for this COPS grant several times over the years and through the 90s. I know. We received an awful lot of officers. We received this grant a lot. Last year, you authorized us to apply for the grant, and we did not make the cut. This year, we're asking that you allow us to resubmit the same application. This would be an amount of $540,000. It's for 3 years, salary to pay entry-level officers. Total grant over the 3 years would be $1.6 million. Once the officers are hired, the equipment would be on the expense of the city. That would be about $58,000 per officer in costs there, which we could pay for if we're granted officers from our confiscated funds and not have to go back to the general fund for that money.
The council have any questions for the chief, who looks a little like Twisted Sister? Councilmember Price.
I just noticed this, and I was wondering if you comment on, at the conclusion of the grant, should we be so lucky as to get it, we would be required to continue funding the positions. Is that likely to be feasible?
Yes, ma'am. We've gotten grants through the 90s almost every year there for a while. Then they stopped a grant for a number of years. It has come back now. If we were to get the grant, we would need the officers. We're not asking for officers just to get a grant or just to get money. We need these officers. Our workload analysis indicates that we do so. However, the part about retaining the officers, the city commits to do that. There's also in the grant wording that if the city were to have a need to reduce its force and were to decide to do so, you could do so with your whatever policies are in place, which are usually last hired, first fired, which could mean that these officers could be laid off with no penalty. But if over the period of 3 years, we would probably have hired officers in, and these officers would still be would have more seniority than that.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
Just for the record, I think that the flip is what makes it work. Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I've been working on that.
I'm going to have nightmares. I'd like to move to approve, please.
Motion by Councilmember Diamond to approve the application for a grant. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember DiPolito. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Passes unanimously. This time we'll call upon Liaison to Recreation and Parks Department, Councilmember Kent Eichelhart.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of an ordinance to ban smoking within the City of Roswell parks. And I guess Morgan's here to do that, but I think we should let the chief come up. Oh, Joe's back there. I didn't see him behind this thing here. But we've seen him enough, I guess. But, we have been here before. We did pass an ordinance that would designate smoking areas within our city parks. We asked the Rec Commission to create those. They then asked staff to create those. They came back, took a look at those, and once those were created, it became pretty clear how difficult it would be to create those, notify people where they are, enforce them, and all the things that go along with that. So in the end, I think we've come back to say that it's much easier and much more workable to place a full ban on parks or smoking in parks. And there has been discussion about making parking lots the place, and my concern would be that that's where the kids generally are after an event, so that kind of goes against one of the goals. And then also we do ban alcohol currently, and those people that consume alcohol generally impact themselves, and those who consume smoking products generally impact themselves but also others. So I do support this, and I guess, Joe, I don't know if there's anything else to add. Maybe it's things that came from staff side or whatever. I'm trying to deflect everything from you, if you like. But so that's the ordinance that we're looking at.
I've got some questions, Mr. Glover, and other council members may have some questions also. How many different locations would this apply to throughout the city?
It would include all of the city parks.
How many parks are we talking about?
Probably approximately 25 to 27 areas total.
Now, I recognize our larger parks. What are some of the smaller parks that this will apply to? Will this apply to the Triangle Park, the Heart of Roswell Park?
It would take care of the Heart of Roswell Park, Town Square, Founders Cemetery, the Old Mill Park. Of course, we had all of our large parks in the area. But those are the ones those are the smaller ones that we do maintain.
It would apply to the entire Riverwalk.
Yes, sir.
So if we have a guest to Roswell who is not familiar with our laws, how is he going to know that he can't walk down the street on a sidewalk on Riverside and smoking a cigarette without being arrested?
We will have to post signs in various locations to make sure that everybody will have an opportunity to see that sign and be aware of the no smoking ban.
So if we've got 25 parks, how many signs do you think we're going to have to post?
Probably approximately 100, 150.
Do we know what that's going to cost us?
No, sir.
Do we have an estimate of what it costs to post one sign?
I think it depends. Some of the areas are going to require bigger signs, and depending on the location of where that sign is, whether it's at the entrance of a major park, it would be a little larger than some of the others. Some of the areas would have multiple smaller signs. So we have to sit down and figure that out and come back with a cost estimate. But I would imagine each sign is going to be a minimum of $15 to $20 or $25 or even more than that.
Do we have money in the budget for this?
We would take it out of our operating budget, yes, sir.
Well, do you have... So you've got money in the operating budget to cover $25 a sign for 150 signs?
Yes, sir.
All right. How long do you think we're going to have to take to post those signs?
It would probably take 2 months.
So do we know when this ordinance would become effective, Mr. Davidson, if we passed it as read?
The effective date is the date of the second reading.
So if it takes 2 months to post these signs, we would have folks unknowingly violating the law, if that's the way it's read?
Well, we wouldn't have the signs out for 2 months, but you could make the effective date 2 months later if that's what you wanted to do.
I don't want to pass it, but I'm just bringing up a point to the council. Mrs. Diamond, you've got a question or comment?
What would be the punishment if you're found doing this? Has that been determined?
I prefer that, Mr. Davidson.
It's the general punishment, but I believe most of the stuff that happens in the park, I think their policy is to basically tell somebody to stop, and if they don't stop, then they kick them out of the park. But if they got cited, it would be up to $1,000 fine and 90 days in jail. Up to. That's determined by the judge. If they got cited, I seriously doubt somebody would get cited. You never know.
Councilmember Orleans.
Mr. Glover, tell me, how does a stranger coming into Roswell today and maybe stopping at the River Park, want to have a picnic, how do they know that they can't drink in River Park now?
We do have some signs in some of the parks that indicate that alcoholic beverages are not allowed. Almost every entrance of every park or at various locations, we do have signs already posted.
So this will be handled in a very similar fashion, will it not?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we need to read the ordinance. I apologize.
Betty has a Councilman.
Councilmember Price.
Just for comparison, and I did a hasty calculation here, it'd be between $3,000 and $4,000 of signs in the numbers that you indicated, and at that cost, which I think was a low cost estimate anyway. But just the same, what approximately would it does it cost? Would it cost the spray ground to run for the summer that we're contemplating charging $1 per person?
Well, we estimate the spray ground costing approximately $25,000.
Okay, for further comment, just in order to be consistent with my previous position on this, I feel like although we are charged to provide a healthy environment, I think we also have to recognize that smoking is legal, and although we don't want to encourage any individual to do that, those who have already chosen to do so are doing a legal activity. And in as much as they have the right to smoke and other people have the right to clean air, I think it behooves us to limit them in the area that they can smoke, but that not to ban it entirely. So I would not be in favor of a total ban.
Councilmember Wynn.
Mr. Glover, the cost that you're saying, now I'm assuming we can do these signs in-house?
We have not really talked to transportation about it yet, but they've been making some signs for us in their sign shop, and that's why the cost has been so low, because we're just buying the material and they've been doing a lot of the work
So
for us.
the maximum would be around $25 if we could do them in-house?
And that's strictly a guess.
Okay, and I understand what Councilmember Price is saying, but drinking alcohol is legal also. So now are we going to allow people to drink in the park? So I think we have to look at what Councilmember Eichelhart said. Drinking is impacting oneself. Smoking is impacting everybody around us. And I'm a former smoker, quit 17 years ago. So I understand about smoking. So I will be in favor of this ordinance.
Anyone else wish to comment before we entertain a motion? Mr. Davidson needs to have the first reading of the ordinance.
Thank you. This is an ordinance to ban smoking within City of Roswell parks. Now, therefore, the mayor and council of the City of Roswell, pursuant to their authority, do hereby adopt the following ordinance. Section 14.2.4K of the City of Roswell Code of Ordinances is hereby amended by deleting it in its entirety and substituting the following section in its place, text of which is incorporated herein by reference, and if approved, this will be the first reading of the ordinance.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve the first reading.
Motion by Councilmember Eichelhart to approve the first reading. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Wynn and Councilmember Orleans. Does anyone in the audience wish to comment or have any questions? Mrs. Wynn wishes to make a comment.
Yes, I'd like to add a friendly amendment if I could, Councilmember Orleans, and put down there would be and take effect 60 days after the passing. That would give them plenty enough time to put signs up. It's only a friendly. Yeah, and it's also a first reading.
We have an amendment. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Councilmember Eichelhart.
Accept it or whatever, yeah. I accept that change.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. It was you that made the green hair is throwing me off. I'm sorry about that.
Messed me up, too.
All right, we will accept that as amended because the folks who made the motion in the second have agreed with that. Does anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Any further discussion by council? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. That's Councilmember Diamond, DiPolito, Wynn, Eaglehart, and Orleans. All opposed. Councilmember Price is opposed. That passes 5-1. Mr. Glover, if you could give me an estimate of the cost to put up the signs and the locations where these signs will be and how many signs are going to go up. I would appreciate that for the next meeting.
Would you like that before the second reading?
Yes,
or
sir.
at the second reading?
At the second reading,
Okay.
I'd like to have that.
We'll do so.
Thank you. At this time, I'll call upon our city administrator for her report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This item is approval to move the June 28th Mayor and Council meeting to June 21st, 2010. It's my understanding that we will not have a quorum present that night to hold the meeting. This is one of the readings for our budget adoption for fiscal year 2011.
Do we have a motion to move the June 28th meeting? Motion by Councilman Orleans. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Eaglehart.
Does this mean we're actually changing our calendar even before we get it going?
Yes,
I just wanted to point that out.
And why, pray tell, would you want to point that out?
Councilmember Diamond.
Mr. Mayor, I know my plans have changed in the last couple of days, so I don't know where our quorum fits, if that's still an issue, but I'm not going to be able to go to GMA, it looks like, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
I'll be here.
Well, maybe we could have a show of hands of who plans to be here on the 28th.
The 28th is the GMA meeting.
Yes, sir.
I will not be here. Now, who will not be? Who will be here on the 28th? Councilmember Diamond, DiPolito, Price, and Orleans. That gives us a quorum.
Are you doing is the budget supposed to be finished that night?
Yes, sir.
I think that was the one reason that we were looking at moving it was because that's the final approval of the budget. So we were trying to have the majority of council here. So that was the main reason. Even if we have a quorum on the 28th, we're going to be short on the 21st would work.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
will be
won't?
here on the 28th.
Oh,
I'll be here on
okay.
the 21st.
Second and fourth.
No, I understand.
I'm just saying.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a motion to move the meeting to the 21st? We have a motion and a second?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember DiPolito.
Are we moving the meeting to the 30th or to the 21st?
Moving it to the 21st.
Okay, so the Monday prior.
Yes, sir, 1 week earlier.
We have a motion and a second to move it to the 21st. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise their hands. Mrs. Price, are you voting or?
I hate to be so negative this evening, but if I vote for it, is that the presumption that I will be attending on the 21st?
No.
Well, you can have the meeting, but I won't be there.
Okay. I've got 5 folks who have voted. I'm waiting on Mr. DiPolito. Are you casting your vote in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
This time we'll hear from our city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. All I have is recommendation for closure to discuss personnel.
We have a motion for closure. Motion by Councilman Eaglehart. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Wynn. All in favor of the motion, raise your hands. Passes unanimously. And we have a work session immediately following this meeting in room 220.